I want to talk a little bit about social anxiety and, how I felt when I got in the Uber to get to the van after being in a motel, pretty much just, by myself in a motel for, a whole week. My interactions were limited to staff coming in, getting towels. Somebody asked me if I could borrow my charger. They didn't give it back, but the motel staff gave it back. I don't know how many interactions I had this week, maybe 2 a day with the towel lady. Called the office if I need something. I don't know, 15 interactions that lasted maybe, very short, a couple minutes, a minute. And I was, basically away from any negativity. I didn't talk to people who, give me negativity, who give me doubt, who don't want to listen to me. And that's a big part of my continuing anxiety. If you're in a situation where you have social anxiety and you don't know how to handle it, you don't know what to do, I think just realize your thinking loop, realize your habitual thinking loop, and, what draws that anxiety. Understand it, identify it, and then step away from it. It's up to you to step away from it. People can try to help you. People can try to tell you they know, better than you. I've dealt with that a lot, and that's honestly slowed down my progress in getting rid of this anxiety because people don't trust me. They don't want to listen to me. Even something that only has to do with me, as ridiculous as that sounds, as stupid as that sounds, people will call something smart even though it's as dumb as, people will dress things up no matter what. Call something help, it's really hurt. So yeah, I felt amazing when I got out of the motel relatively to how I felt when I got into this of all the downpour and, how soaking wet I was. Like completely just based on how I felt and anxiety-wise, like I was just out. Like I was out in the world and I was trying to get back or trying to get my stuff to the motel. But I was like just completely like outside, exposed, in the world for like, I was camping for like 3 days. So I didn't have I had very minimal privacy, and that's something that, that can give people anxiety. But when I got in the Uber, my body language was supreme. I felt relaxed. My driver was a male. He was younger. He was a nice guy. He didn't even talk at all. He was a little twitchy and fidgety and stuff like that. But me knowing, that, there's different causes of things, me understanding things, having the wisdom to not, somebody that's fidgety, see somebody that obviously has some anxiety, you have no idea what it's from, where it's coming from, and, you just ignore it, if you have intelligence. But yeah, like I felt relaxed, I felt calm, and a lot of times my anxiety will be at a minimum where if I'm around people that have anxiety, I get anxiety. My anxiety was low enough where he had anxiety and it didn't affect me. It didn't impact me. My anxiety had calmed for being in that motel for so long that, things weren't able to affect me in the world. And when your anxiety is at a point where, it's not settled, it's maybe it was at like a 2 out of 10. If it's at like a 5 out of 10, for example, like, little things can trigger your anxiety to jump. But if you're like at a low stage, you're more resilient. But like if I were like my coworkers at my job and I saw this individual in the taxi cab, granted there's like no audience, there's no crowd to entertain, there's nobody to make fun of in front of a crowd, it's just me and the driver. But like, for example, if I was somebody who I worked with, I would probably go out of my way to make that person feel as uncomfortable as possible and use it for my own personal entertainment. As horrible as that sounds, people do that, don't acknowledge it, and just proceed with their life, and people respect them. And like, these are issues that I have with society that I plan to hopefully correct. It's not going to be easy, but that's why we're talking about it. And talk about things, take things head on, and hopefully other people are in situations or not hopefully, but people are in situations where they have anxiety, you understand your anxiety, you understand your thought pattern, where it comes from. It comes from people doubting you. If it comes from people not wanting to listen to you, don't stop, get out of that loop. Don't stop thinking that the people are gonna wise up, or they're gonna whatever. I guess change, I don't know. But you have to take yourself out of that loop. You have to take yourself out of the situation that's giving you the anxiety. First, you have to be able to identify that. And then once you can take yourself out of that and you can do things like work out. I worked out a lot in the motel room, about every other day. And I meditated regularly, a few times a day, like 1 or 2 times a day on average when I was in there. And those kind of things can suppress your anxiety. And if you prevent other things from raising your anxiety, you can tackle it. You can improve it. You can make it go away. And the way I felt like Superman in the car. Like, when you're in like a fidgety frequency, when your anxiety's in like a fidgety frequency, you can't control like your irritability. You can't control your level of discomfort. Like, you think people want to feel uncomfortable? Hey, I don't understand how people think about things, really, how people's brains work. I don't know how people get to where they are and do what they do every day, honestly, if they think about certain things in certain ways. But regardless, yeah, like obviously if you feel uncomfortable or somebody feels uncomfortable, like if you want to help that person, you want to cease that discomfort, not make it worse. Making it worse is usually a sign that somebody is doing something intentionally, to irritate somebody. In most cases, it's just common sense. This is the kind of knowledge you can use to tackle your anxiety. Situations that are difficult are when there's a large crowd or a lot of people. There's a lot of eye contact, and you can't really, I don't know if about controlling a situation is the right word, but you have less control over the people around you, I guess. And when it becomes a matter of you like scanning a room, that is a very easy way to induce anxiety. So I'm not at that point yet where, like, I guarantee you if I walked into, I don't know if I guarantee, my anxiety is at a pretty low level. If I walked into a public store, I don't know if my anxiety would come up or not. I don't know. I don't know if being in a crowd and having a lot of people around me in a store, how it normally would, like last week or the week before, if that would stir up my social anxiety. Just having people around me, back to those habitual thoughts of that company, what that community put me through. But I think slowly but surely, there's like levels of like socializing. So like I had a very low level of socializing today. I had an Uber driver who barely talked. There's one person, there was just me and the driver. There wasn't anyone else in the car to worry about, to look at. Where are they looking? What are they thinking about? To draw even any personal, thoughts about, I guess. I don't know. But like a higher level social situation where you're in a public building, or you're in an elevator in a tight space and everybody's space is, in front of everybody's face. Those are higher level social situations that I don't want to put myself in yet because I don't feel ready. And that may take time. But the way I felt in the cab is how I used to feel all the time. You just feel relaxed. You feel like you're constantly being attacked. You constantly have to worry about things. You constantly have to be irritated. I just felt relaxed, mellow. Even just, I thought about things like that, like my anxiety and things like that. And I was like, no, I'm calm, I'm cool, I'm collected. My body language is not frantic. And that's something that when you're put in situations over and over again, your frantic body language, your anxiety, you can't control that. Knowing where it comes from and, things like that, it doesn't do any good if nobody listens to you, I guess. But, this is a process. I haven't had any college, education in this kind of stuff, any experience learning about this stuff. This is purely just from personal experience and me wrapping my head around what has impacted my life. How do I solve this issue? Just as like an engineer would. career path I was used to, just solving problems, and this is my biggest problem, handed out right on my plate 3 years ago. How am I going to deal with this? This isn't my field. This isn't my expertise. Even getting advice from people who have background in this and realizing they couldn't help me, and they had no idea what was going on, and they really didn't have a deep understanding of my specific situation. That's when I had to become my own student and teacher and start diving into this kind of stuff, start really thinking about it. Problems are your own personal responsibility and nobody else's, and that's how you have to deal with them.